You live.
And welcome everyone back to the VC CPI podcast. I'm going to be your host today, Osai Rivers, and I want everyone else to introduce themselves. We go with Genesis, Cheyenne, Kavante, and then Kamaya.
Hello everybody. I'm Genesis. I'm a junior majoring in psychology.
Hello everyone. I am Cheyenne Blakeney and I am a senior studying child development.
Hello, everyone. My name is Devontae. I'm a senior at Voorhees College, majoring in biology.
Hello, my name is Kamaya. I'm a sophomore in college and I'm majoring in business administration.
And as you all know, I'm Osai Rivers. I'm a child development major in my junior year at Voorhees College. And if you're going to get into any good trouble, get into good trouble. All right. Oh, I said that wrong. If you're going to get into any trouble, get into good trouble. Excuse me. Next, we can go to Cheyenne to our COVID guidelines.
Hello, and I'm here to bring you your COVID guidelines, First of all, please don't forget your mask. Always wear your mask, please. If you see me standing 6 feet back, and 6 feet back from me too. So make sure you have your gloves, wash your hands 20 seconds, stay home if you're sick, quarantine for 14 days. Same if you're around somebody that's sick. You can use Lysol, bleach, and Pine Sol to clean your surfaces, and, just stay safe, And that's Diane with your COVID-19 guidelines, period, poo.
All right. Well, we thank you for that, Cheyenne. And as you all know, we had a special guest on our podcast last week, but allow me to reintroduce him for those of you that didn't see it. I'm introducing you a man from Springfield, Georgia. His accomplishments include a member of the Honors College, the current Mr. Voorhees, a member of Alpha Kappa Mu Honor Society, a part of the White House Initiative on Honors HBCU Scholars. He studied and traveled abroad with the Planting a Seed International in Monrovia, Liberia. And his personal quote that he lives by is, "Whatever you do, do it best." He's a business administrator in his senior year at Voorhees College, Mr. Denzel Ward.
Walls. Hey, honored to be here. I'm ready for another great episode of Good Trouble. So let's get into some.
Wonderful. So first, we're going to discuss today everyone's personal police experiences. We're gonna go to Kamaya first. Can you give us a little bit of an experience that you've had, good or bad, with a police officer, where you're from? Go ahead.
Okay. Well, where I'm from Washington, D.C. Personally, I didn't really have no police experience with police. I just seen, like, in my community what the police have done. I could speak about, I had spoke once before about the young man he was 18 and he was a white police and he was a black dude. And the police had got a call saying that it was a dude, it was 4 dudes that had guns. And he was basically, I felt like the police was nervous about this, like he was nervous. So he automatically, had his gun out and he shot the dude and stuff like that. I really don't have no experience about, with police. I don't really like them, but I mean, I know that I feel like they're not here to make sure we're safe. They're just here for the money.
Got you. Okay. Let's give a different perspective. We'll go to Mr. Walls and give you. Can you give us an experience or a time that you've had, again, good or bad, with any police interaction?
Thank you. So my summer before my senior year of high school, I had summer basketball practice, and afterwards we went to Walmart. So while leaving Walmart to take one of my friends home, we were pulled over by a police officer, and the cop said that someone called in and said one of us were riding without a seatbelt. So leaving the parking lot. So someone called in and said we didn't have a seatbelt on, leaving the Walmart parking lot in the middle of the day. And so followed behind him were 3 more squad cars. So all the police officers got out of their car. One cop asked for IDs. And then a couple of police officers walked over to my side, told me to open my door because I looked like I'm up to no good. And so I had to sit there with the door open. While the door was open, they asked me, do you go by what's your name? Do you go by any other names? You got any nicknames, stuff like that? And then they looked on the ground of the car and saw dirt, and they was like, oh, you guys are, y'all have tobacco in here or something like that. We're all 18, so I mean, it would be legal anyway, but you could tell that they were really reaching to try to find something on us. 3 young black men just riding in the middle of the day were pulled over for no reason. Ultimately, they found nothing. They gave us back our IDs and sent us on our merry way. But my question for all of you, anyone can chime in. One, have you ever heard of someone calling in for somebody not having their seatbelt on, leaving the parking lot? Have you ever heard of that? Anyone? No, I didn't think so.
No.
No. I was gonna say not nothing like that. I've heard of people, calling in of like a reckless drive or something like that, but something simple like that, I've never ever heard of somebody calling in for something like that. Either someone was really, 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 really watching you and did not like you, or it was just an excuse to try to find some type of probable cause. I don't know. Sounds like bad policing to me personally, but again, all police have different training, and I hope that situation doesn't give you bias towards all police officers. It could have just been those, or you. Again, we don't know all like the extenuating circumstances of that situation, but on the outside looking in, I could see how that would be looked at as some pretty not so good policing. But yeah, from that, let's move on to a different topic. We're going to move into the topic of systemic racism and what exactly that is. I know we kind of touched on it a little bit in our last podcast, but I want to go a little bit deeper into it. Genesis, I'm going to start with you. What is systemic racism?
Systemic racism is taking all the parts that are supposed to work in our system, like our government, our policing, our schools, and using it in a way to work against a certain part of the population due to unnatural biases. So for example, so-called we're not wearing your seatbelt and there's dirt on the floor, is systemic racism. They pointed you out because you looked as if you were doing something you had no business, but in reality, you were just a black male in a car.
Right. That's great. And we've all dealt with systemic racism. Even if you haven't, you may not acknowledge it or really consider that, but you have dealt with that. And think about this: we're living in a system that was not ever built in place for us. Okay, so just take that into consideration and understand why, this year in particular, now everyone's awake and we're doing all these things. Like, I would love to hear Devontae's opinion on this how this year has been with people opening their eyes to see what's going on in this country. I know you've probably experienced a lot of systemic racism in your own front.
Yeah. Personally, me with the police, I haven't had, too many good encounters with it. Like yourself, I was riding in a car and was pulled over and experienced a little systematic racism. They said that we, like yourself, they said we had drugs in the car, but it was actually just some dirt on the ground. I don't know if they were trying to say if it was like heroin or something, but yeah. As a black male myself, I feel as though we have to be even more cautious around the police, because you see how quick they are to point that out with even though it wasn't real drugs. Like, you can't move too quick, you can't do this and that, because they already see us as aggressive. And like you said, this system was not built for us to succeed. So we already have one target on our back. So yeah.
With that, do you guys feel that systemic racism only fits those in the black community, or that of people, like, we'll just say black and brown people of color, or is systemic racism built more towards wealth and status and all those type of things? Because what you were born into. Do you think a poor white person can be in a systemically racist system?
I say
I would
both.
say, oh, go ahead.
You would have to understand the
both.
system for that to even be a question. You have to understand who the system is built for.
Exactly.
It's not necessarily to say that because you look a certain way that you're automatically under the system. It's more than just a look. It's more than just where you come from. It's more of, if you don't understand what the system is supposed to provide, you're gonna end up underneath it. And because it was built by us, but on top of us, it affects us more than it does the regular person.
And then, like
Okay.
you said, you say,
Oh, go ahead,
you
Denzel. Go ahead.
you were saying, is it about wealth classes? We're not even supposed to be in a kind of wealth class when this was built. So everything we've done is uprooting the system in a way. And Kamai, I know you had something to say. What were you getting ready to say?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I say both, but it's more so in the Black community. So
Yeah, I was gonna say I mean to cut you off. My question was, I wasn't saying that to say either or. I was just posing the scenario. You have two individuals. We won't even mention, like, you don't know, like, white and black, two individuals grew up the same, ended up having the same life, came from the same place, but what you guys are saying is that the black person, even though they ended up the same place, no matter same, everything happened the same, they were a part of a system that was systemically racist because of what because of their color of their skin. That was my question to you.
Yeah, I mean, what
Yeah, I
was
feel.
constructed for us? Go ahead.
Oh, my bad. But basically, I feel as though, just because they came up in the same situation, even if a black person and a white person were both wealthy, that black person is still going to be looked at as a threat. So basically, I feel like the white person, even if they came up in a lower class situation than the black person, they're still going to be looked at more innocent, or is not as much as a threat. So
Got you.
yeah, I feel like,
Got you. And a follow up to anyone, how do y'all feel that we can go about changing that, changing the system, changing a system that is built per se for us to fail, as you guys feel? How do we change?
Education is key. We have to become knowledgeable of what's going on. We have to understand how we can evoke change, how we can get funding, how we can, there's so many things. We know there needs to be change. I think now we need to educate ourselves on how we can legit change it. And that's not by just voting for the president. It's by voting for the right president who can start the change. It's by voting for people in the Senate, people in the Congress. It's by, when you get your ballot in November and you see the different bills, it's knowing whether to hit yes or no. It's about doing the research. There's so many things that we need to educate ourselves on. And before we keep going with this, I want to ask ladies, when we were talking about Devontae brought up how black people are looked at as threats. I want to ask you women, like, how do you feel about your brothers and cousins going out and doing things, knowing that at any moment they could be one of the people that we see on TV? How do you deal with that?
That is scary.
Yeah, it's very.
It is. You learn the hard way that you can't even walk to your car. So it's, I don't know.
I mean, I know, like, every time my dad when he's out or whatever, like, I feel like I get worried. He is a black man. Our skin carries so much power to it that everybody just feels threatened by us. So, like, I don't know. I just really fear for every time especially if my dad driving like far. Like, I really do fear for his life sometimes.
Yeah,
Honestly,
and
we've been in
okay.
situations. Well, I've been in situations where my cousins and brothers have been harassed simply for getting in their cars. So it can be scary because there is no real way to just go about your business anymore, because everything that's us going about our business is seen as a threat, or it's taken as, us doing too much. So
Right,
it
and
can be kind of scary to watch people I know want to succeed and want to do these things in life do it, because you push on something that ain't meant to be pushed on, you're gonna get pushed back. And you gotta really decide on if you're gonna keep pushing or not. It's
Mhm.
and
All right.
that's why I feel it's important that we uh, learn the system, we understand what's going on, and we move that, and we get more African American males and females into HBCUs. I think one big thing for me, I grew up a predominantly white high school, so I never really had a black teacher my entire life. In my classes, I'm usually the only black person, definitely the only black boy in the class. And when I go to a HBCU and I'm starting to see black people in power and starting to see African Americans teaching classes, African American presidents, seeing all these different doctors going to events and all that. And I think that's what people need to see. We need to be those agents of change. I think we have friends that are younger than us in high school, encourage them to go to HBCUs. Because I think it changed my life to see black people in positions of power. I would like to hear y'all opinions on that.
Yeah, we're actually that was a great point, and I want to save that for our open discussion. We're gonna let Mr. Do come on and give an announcement.
Hey everybody, this is Mr. Do, reporting in live from Voorhees College. I know that you're having a great conversation right now. I know that they're talking about things that you probably need to be taking notes, right? So right now we just want to take like a little brief commercial, and we want to talk about professional development. And so as you can see, Devontae is dressed in his suit and tie. Denzel is dressed in his suit and tie, and some people aren't. But we want to talk about the do's and the don'ts for professional dress, man. Denzel, I almost call you Osiah. But Denzel, when you think about professional dress, what does it look like? Is there a certain amount of suits or a certain color of suits? Let's talk about that for a minute.
Well, yeah, traditionally, you should know, professional dress is a blue, black, or gray suit. It is tie. Uh, you have a little freer with your tie, but mainly it's tie. Um, and there's different aspects of it, but you can still put your own style onto it. But there is a big difference between professional dress and business casual, and I think that's where a lot of confusion is. Um, to be professional, you do have to have a tie on. Certain kind of, you've seen the nice blazers with the sparkles and all that on it. That's not professional. Your church blazers, that's not professional. So I think knowing the difference, and it's a thin line, but there is definitely a difference.
That's great advice. So let's shift for a moment, because we have some females on the call, and I know we have some females that will be able to give perspective to other females that are watching. So Cheyenne, talk to me for a second, and let's talk about what unprofessional dress looks like for a female.
Honestly, biker shorts, ripped jeans, you know, tube top.
Wait. So ripped jeans aren't professional?
They're not. They're not.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
Um, you know, again, bonnets. Please. Um, um, but yeah, uh, it's not professional dress. Like, you go workplace like that, because at the end of the day, like, who's gonna want to hire you? Like, honestly, it's a very inappropriate, and it's kind of a sign of disrespect. Like you don't care, and you gonna the company look bad by coming like who wants to come in and see something like that.
That's great advice. I think we would leave and allow that to be the theme of this whole segment, is who would want to hire you. I allowed it to be the theme of this moment. Who would want to hire you? Do you have anything that you think that the males need to know about? Does their belt need to match with their shoes, or should they have on a green belt with black shoes? Should their socks match, or should they have on white socks with a black suit? Tell me a little something about how your suit looks, man.
Okay, see, me personally, I ain't gonna lie, I be trying to match everything. So
There we go.
if I got on a brown, then I'm gonna have on some brown shoes. You shouldn't come into an interview with a white dress shirt on, some black slacks, brown shoes, and then green belt. That just doesn't look good. And like she mentioned earlier about ripped jeans, jeans in general just aren't professional, if you get what I'm saying. That's more of like a casual day.
Yeah.
So yeah, make sure your pants pulled up, your belt on tight, your suit ironed, use your lint roller.
There you go.
Gotta look crisp.
There you go.
And like you said, you can put your own little swag on it. Like me personally, like I was gonna put on a shirt and tie like Denzel had on today, but I just wanted to go with the turtleneck look, which is not always a professional look. Like I wouldn't recommend wearing it to a business interview. But if you're just going somewhere, like looking nice, or you got to go to a nice meeting or something, it's definitely a way to go.
Also, don't be afraid to go to your local tailor. Tailoring will help your suit immensely.
Yeah, you don't want to have on a big.
I would like to add, I'm sure everyone can agree, when you're dressed nice, it's a certain aura, a certain swagger you feel. You just feel different when you dress nice. And trust me, people definitely notice when you walk in somewhere and you look really professional. So professional dress is important on all aspects.
Well, Deion Sanders said it like this, Denzel. Deion Sanders said, when you look good, you feel good. When you feel good, you play good. When you play good, they pay good. So that's what Deion Sanders said. That's just, encompass that whole conversation right quick. So anybody have anything else they want to share about professional dress? Genesis, you have anything that you want to share with the people about the do's and don'ts, what they should not wear? No? Anything? All right. So that's our little small commercial break, our intermission. And so we're going to put it back in the hands of our ship driver today, which is Osai River. So Osai, you can continue driving the ship.
I appreciate that. Everyone, I want to thank Mr. Dew. And for these last 5 minutes, we're going to kind of leave it to open discussion. I know Denzel's point he made, I think was a very good point. I think it'll be a good thing to end on. Why the importance of voting and how that affects you, not just on a national level, but locally. I think a lot of people focus on who's going to be the next president, and that's like the big uproar right now, as 3 weeks away. But a lot of those same people don't have any idea who's running their own state and what they live in. So Denzel, I'll let you start the conversation. Why is voting, especially in the Black community, why is that so important in the lead to change?
I would want to say, and this is my biggest point. A lot of people, I know you go around campus, you hear people saying, why should I vote? My vote doesn't count. It doesn't matter anyway. They're going to do what they want to do. Let me tell you how you're wrong. I was lucky enough to have the opportunity to be in a press with Congressman Clyburn yesterday. And he spoke on how the power of one vote. In 1876, there was an election and the president won by one vote. So that means if 2 more people would have said, you know what, I'm gonna go vote instead of staying home, it would have been different. But because he won by one singular vote, the Reconstruction stopped and Jim Crow laws were introduced in 1877. Because of one vote, Jim Crow laws lasted from 1877 to 1954. So that is the impact your one singular vote can have. And if that's not enough to encourage you to go vote, think about how hard your grandparents, our grandparents all fought just for us to even have this ability to vote. If it didn't matter, then why do they vote? So,
yeah. Oh, go ahead, continue.
No, that's basically what I want to say.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing I personally harp on people is do your own research, make your own decision, but don't do nothing. Doing nothing is the worst thing you could possibly do. If you're gonna vote, I don't care either which way you vote, Everyone has their own opinion, how they feel things should be ran. But the important thing is that you got out and made your voice matter and count, and you did your research, and you're trying to affect change, trying to affect a positive change in your community. So sitting back and voting is probably the worst thing that anyone can do. I don't care which way you vote, just go out and vote. Everyone needs to go out and vote. If you're old enough to go vote, you need to go vote. Because these people, we're voting. These people are deciding what's going to happen in not just our lives, the lives of our children and the lives of their children too. So it's not just about us. And I think a lot of times not voting is a lot of times selfish, I think, in my opinion. Because like you said, people have died in the streets that we walk on now so that we can have the opportunity to go vote like everyone else. So voting, I think voting is probably the biggest key to a lot of things.
The person who gave us the namesake of this podcast, John Lewis, was nearly murdered on a bridge for us to have these rights that we have today.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know how you can, be a part of all these protests, be a part of all these things, and don't think voting is important. It is. I want everyone to encourage everyone to know to register and to vote. Because it's just important. And before we go, I would like to ask everyone to chime in. What do you think you have gained from these last 2 episodes as far as knowledge? Anyone can chime in.
Me personally, I have a great deal of respect for you. I know we've talked a little bit off camera, and we don't, exactly agree on everything, but I respect you and your research and everything that you do, and respect what you're doing, especially in like the Black community, encouraging more people that look like us that, it's okay to be leaders. We don't have to sit in the back and watch people lead from the front. So I know from you personally, I've gained a lot of respect and knowing you more, and definitely hope to talk to you more like in the future.
Of course.
I've definitely gained a different perspective, realize sitting down and listening and realizing that, everyone has their own way of viewing what's going on.
Yeah. Anyone else?
I mean, I'm basically going to say the same thing. Everybody has their own opinion and has their own view on stuff. It's just, and everybody goes through their own struggles. Like I just learned a lot about each and every everybody on the podcast. Like I just learned a lot, and I just want to. And I just want to say, it has been a joy working with this team.
Yes.
I was gonna say, I think one thing you can take from a podcast like this is learning the power of communication. One thing we don't do enough is just openly discuss these things. I think, now we all know, like, I'm sure you all feeling, I know y'all felt excited week after week to, discuss these things, and you see how important it is. My last question for y'all would be like, what advice would you give to students how to stay encouraged during this virtual phase? I know it's tough. Want to be motivated to do your work is hard without having to go to class. What would you say for everyone to stay encouraged? I know it was hard for you all to even wake up and do these podcasts. So what would you say?
I would say just go ahead and get it out the way and just tough it. Like it's got to get done eventually. So just why not go ahead and knock it all out at one time?
Yeah, definitely. I would say just stay focused, and you're a lot stronger. You're a lot stronger, especially mentally, than you think. A lot of people think they are.
I would say just if you're gonna do it right the first time, so that you don't have to come back and correct it. I mean, correcting things is right, but do it right the first time.
Yep.
And I just want to say, like, I know, because from experience right now, from what I'm experiencing, he hitting me. I feel like I'm senioritis is just eating me alive. But the only thing I can say is stay focused. Do not fall into laziness and me, senioritis. If all the seniors do not fall for it, okay? Just keep pushing, focus, and get it get it done. Get it done.
Right. Yeah, the finish line. So you might as well cross.
Yeah. And if anyone else has anything else to say, I would like to thank Mr. Denzel Walls for gracing us again for a second week here on the Good Trouble podcast. We appreciate you so much and everything you're doing. We look forward to seeing everything that you do as the current Mr. Voorhees.
Big things are coming. Be ready.
I'm sure of it. And we're gonna have a final word from our podcast director, Mr. Du.
Good trouble. So thank you all for being on the podcast today. Whoever is watching, we want to thank you for joining in. If you're watching this later, like tomorrow or later today or next week or 3 months from now, thank you for watching. This discussion has been going on. This is the 5th episode, and I think we've literally seen this team grow like never before and just build camaraderie. So be looking for some stuff to come soon in the next coming months whenever we have another discussion. But we want to thank you for looking at this video, at these smiling faces. If y'all could just smile for the people really quick. I know we got some smiles here. Genesis had one. I saw it. Cheyenne had one. See, Osai, see, we got some smiling faces of it because we know that at any time, anybody that's watching this, they may need something. They just may need a very small smile to make their day better. We're in a pandemic, right? But you never know what people need. So we thank you for coming on, and we want you to share this and tell somebody if you're gonna get in any trouble, what they need to get in, y'all.
Good trouble.
Good trouble.
Good trouble.
All right, man. We're gonna end this. We'll see y'all soon. Have a great day.